Welcome to the Home Team Sacramento podcast. I'm Josh Takimoto. With me is my friend Kevin Bracey. What's going
Let's
on,
go.
Kevin?
What's up, JT?
Man, let me tell you this, man. I love doing this podcast. Like, I just love connecting with coaches and athletes. Like the comments and the people we've gotten connected with and have reached out has been really awesome, man. So, like, I think we're onto something, man. And this is only the beginning, like we've talked about before, only the beginning. So I'm excited for everything that's coming up next.
Man, look, like I tell you this every time. Anytime I can be associated with you, I'm in great company. I talk about the importance of the company that you keep. If you can't bring the people up in your life, for God's sake, don't let them bring you down. And hanging out with you lifts me up, man, gets me excited. I mean that. You one of the greatest human beings I ever met, bro. Real talk.
I appreciate that, man. And likewise, man, I feel the same about you, man. Like it's like I told you before, it's crazy to think that, I mean, however many, almost 11 years ago, you and I were driving, our first time hanging out, we were driving to, I think, Travis Air Force Base, and you were giving a talk there.
That's right.
I would have, like, just sitting in the car trying to pick your brain about all these different things. I would have never guessed that it would have led to this place and all these different projects that we've been working on. So, man, I'm always grateful for your influence in my life, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you, brother.
Absolutely. So we do have a quick topic today. We won't take too long on this topic. We'll try to get you guys out of here quickly. But man, I gotta ask this first. You and I have been on the record multiple times. This podcast, other podcasts. We're both huge hip hop fans. We're recording the Wednesday before the Super Bowl. Dude, I don't think I've been this excited for a halftime show in a long time.
Oh my goodness, you just gave me the chills when you said that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, really, I'm like, okay, cool. Halftime show. I usually check out and go get more snacks. This time, I don't know, man. It's just, this is my lane. I love this. This lineup's amazing.
Look, I shave my head, right? And when I get the chills, I feel like I got to go shave again because my hair grows. You just talking about the halftime show just made my hair grow a little bit on my head, man, because when you're talking Dr. Dre, when you're talking Snoop, when you're talking Kendrick Lamar, you talking Eminem, we talking Mary J. Blige and whatever other special guests that they have.
Right.
That is, I want to say, because I'm older than you, JT, that is, I feel like it's my era of hip hop, right? I could also go back to Run DMC and LL Cool J and all that, but we won't go there. But that is my era. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the Super Bowl, to the game, and I'm more excited about the halftime show.
Man, I think everybody is. I'm sure you've seen it. I've seen a meme out there. It's like, hey, did you know the Bengals and the Rams are playing during the halftime show?
That's good.
But, yeah, it's really good, man. So I'm excited. I'm excited for the game too. I think it'll be an interest. Who do you got in the game?
Man, I just want to see a great game. The blessing for me is I don't have a favorite team in baseball, football, or basketball. I just enjoy competition. I would like to see, just because LA is closer to me, I'd like to see LA win, but I love me some Joe Burrow. I'm a Joe Burrow fan. So I want to see Joe Burrow get his, I mean, he gonna kill it. He's not, the moment is not too big for him.
Not at all. I think he welcomes it, if anything, man. You're smart though. Not having a team for any of those sports, your life's so much better, man.
I could watch basketball. I could watch all of it and just watch.
Man, I'm a big fan of the San Francisco Giants, and I'm a huge fan. I don't think you knew this. I'm a huge fan of the Packers. I've been a Green Bay Packer fan since like the days of like Dorsey Levens, Brett Favre, Antonio Freeman, Reggie White, all those guys.
Okay. What about Sharp?
Yeah, Sterling Sharp, all those dudes.
Yes,
so it's been a rough couple of years. So you're smart for not having a team, because it's been brutal for me.
So much fun. Me and my wife can just sit down. She makes this homemade pizza, and I can just sit back and wiggle my toes and chill.
Right. I told my wife the same thing. I'm like, these games are so much better when you don't have a team in them. So much. Well, that Bills Chiefs game. How wild is that?
That was wild, man. I love that. That was the best game I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I agree. But
I like certain players though. I wanted to see Mahomes pull it out, man, but it looked like he froze up at the end of the game. It looked like he got nervous. It was like the moment was too big for him. It was a moment. I'm gonna do this real quick. He had a Russell Westbrook moment where like Russ right now
he's struggling.
He's struggling, man. And you can see it. You can see it. And I felt like there was just a couple of series where Mahomes felt like it was like a deer in the headlights moment.
100%. Well, it was such a weird thing because you watch, so the division game, Bills, Chiefs, they won the coin toss, and you just knew like, oh, he's gonna score. And he did.
Right.
I mean, it took however many seconds. They scored quick. The next week, overtime, when the coin flip again, you're thinking, oh, he's about to win this game. And I mean, it was just a bizarre series of plays. I mean, I think he almost threw two picks before he finally threw the last pick.
Right.
And it's like, man, yeah, I don't know.
But then the sack when he was running backwards, you got to get rid of that. You got to get rid. You got to get rid of it.
It just sometimes, man, it's so weird to see guys like that. I mean, fail, I guess you call it. Like, right. It's just so weird because you've seen him excel so often and just kill it. And it's like, oh, this guy's basically Superman playing football. Right. But yeah, that being said, man, I'm excited and I'm with you. Yeah. I'm not a Joe Burrow fan, but I love watching him right now. Like maybe I'm becoming a fan. I don't know, man. Like, because it's just fun to watch him. And that's actually what we're going to talk about a little bit today is something this past week. If anybody's been watching Sports Center, First Take, Get Up, whatever show you prefer.
Yes, sir.
One of the things that he's mentioned in his press conference was, I think the question was, hey, what advice do you have for young athletes? And let me make sure I get this right. He says, work hard in silence. Don't put it all on social media. And pretty simple. And I think that's a really interesting thing. And if you watch any of those sports shows, there was some conversation, maybe a little debate about, that's cool for him, but like some of these kids need to put it on social media. And you and I were talking, it's an interesting thing because we think we need to put everything on social media. But we don't have to. It helps in a lot of ways. Like some of the stuff that you do, it helps to get your name out there on social media. But I think at the heart of what he was saying was like, man, if this is how I look at it, what's louder? Where are you loudest? Are you loudest on social media and it's not as loud as the work you're putting in the gym, on the field? Or is it really loud on the field and then you just post every once in a while? Like, I think if your emphasis and your focus is on social media so much where it overshadows everything else, then yeah, the balance is off there. But I think at the heart of what he's saying is like, yeah, if you're not putting the work in, like none of the social media stuff matters. But I mean, you as a speaker and you as a former professional athlete, like, what do you think about that idea?
I feel like the world has kind of created a thing. I don't even know how to explain it. And I'm very rarely lost for words, but created this like urgency to where anything that we do, we have to post it or it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So especially for the younger generation coming up, it's like, it's a habit. Everything you do, we feel like we got to post it. And I've been caught up in that before where you got to post everything just to kind of document your life.
Sure. And
I feel like it's kind of like I was talking to a friend of mine who's teaching me right now about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and NFTs and all the stuff that's going on. I don't understand it, but I'm going to learn about it because I'm a leader. Sure. I don't want to spend all my life and get all caught up in it. But as a leader, I can't stop learning.
Right.
I have to keep learning so I can at least have an intelligent conversation about it, which I can't do yet, but I'm going to do it. And the first thing he was teaching me is he said, it's about a behavior change. We're so used to dealing with cash, with money. He said, but if you're going to step into that crypto world and Coinbase, you have to, the biggest challenge is the behavior change. So that's his first lesson that he taught me. And I feel like that's what it is with posting. It's like we feel like we have to post everything or it didn't happen. Can we make a decision to say, you know what, I'm going to do my work when nobody's looking. I may post once a week or twice a week, but I'm going to do this workout so I can post. Right. I'm going to run these heels so I can post. I'm going to do this bench so I can post to show people this is what I'm doing. The ones who are killers, and I don't mean literally, I mean figuratively, killers on the court, killers on the field, are the ones that don't feel the need, like a Joe Burrow, that they don't have to post, and they know they're working, and then it shows up on the field, and you can see that Joe Cool doesn't have to post.
Yeah,
and he's putting in the work because the way he performs when he's under the big lights.
Right. Well, and when I first saw this, I knew we were going to do this podcast, I immediately thought of you in your speaking career, man, because over the years we've talked about it, and I've heard you say, to young speakers who are aspiring to have a professional career as a speaker like
Mhm.
you're talking about the work, the amount of work that it goes in. It's not like, I mean, man, you have an A-type personality. You have a certain amount of energy where I'm sure you could go up on stage and do something and off the cuff, and I'm sure like a lot of people would like it, but would it be as great as it possibly could be? You know that about yourself, you know that about the
Right.
craft of speaking. And so
Right.
every talk you do, whether you're doing 3 or 4 or 5 talks a day, each one you've prepared meticulously
Oh my
for.
God.
And I mean, there's so many like the I guess the nerdy speaker things, that you have to do in order to be a great speaker. Like we could talk about all those things, but the bottom
Right.
line is you're putting in the work, but you're not posting pictures of you sitting at a desk writing out your talk.
Right.
You're not in the mirror. It's like, hey, look at me, I'm practicing. Like I've never seen you do any of this. Now you post some pictures and videos of you actually performing,
Right.
but never of the work of that
Not the
you're going behind,
process.
not the process, unless you're talking to your aspiring speakers. It's a little
Right.
different, but there's a purpose behind that though. um,
Exactly.
but it's not like you're constantly flexing on Instagram saying, hey, look at how much work I'm putting in. It's like, hey, we're going to know. And you know how we know is because you're around the city all week, all month
Right.
at schools, 5 or 6 schools, sometimes each
Absolutely.
day. Right. It's like, oh,
Sometimes, absolutely.
he's working and you're not going to get hired if you're not putting the work in, in the quiet times when no one can see. So, I think this is a huge lesson. And I think it even applies to coaches. Like, I think we think about this mainly about athletes, but I think even coaches, like, whatever example you set for your athletes, like they're going to follow that. And so if it's, not constantly, because I mean, some guys, and there's probably some value to it, but they're posting a lot of stuff, even about their team and their team's accomplishments and all that. It's like, are you still focused on what your team's actually doing? Or are you
Absolutely.
focus more on the social? Because I mean, some of these coaches I'm jealous, man. They have a nice social media presence. Like you guys are killing it,
Killing it.
more than I am. But
Right.
sometimes you wonder, it's like how much of this is distracting you from the main goal of your team.
I honestly feel as you're talking, I feel like we're in a space where it's an addiction.
Yeah.
Posting is an addiction. Social media is an addiction. And I, I am guilty of scrolling. I am
Me too.
guilty of getting caught up in what the world thinks is important.
Right.
But lately, it's ironic, JT, that we're talking about this because lately I haven't been posting a lot, but I've been speaking all the time. But I haven't been posting it. Why? Because I'm personally, consciously, intentionally working on that behavioral change.
Right.
Because when I'm spending time editing my videos, oh yeah, some people say, well, you can pay someone to do that. I don't want to pay somebody to edit and post my videos. Not right now. I just don't want to do that. But I'm literally working on the behavioral change so that I don't feel like I have to post every single day to show the world that I spoke today. Because in the speakers world, most speakers, anytime they speak, they post. So you can really, and I know we're just talking about speaking, and I know it's not really connected to athletics right now, but it's like, if you want to know who's really doing it as a speaker, all you have to do is scroll down and look at what they've done live and how often you see live talks.
Right.
And a lot of speakers that I know, they're posting things that they did 5 years ago and 8 years ago and acting like it's current when it's
Right.
really not.
Right.
And they're acting like it's current because they feel like they have to show their followers, this is what I'm doing. When you're really doing it and you don't have to prove that you're doing it, then you don't really have to post it. Joe Burrow doesn't have to post it because he's really putting in the work.
100%. And I think it kind of boils down to where you place the emphasis is that, like I said, is that balance of where you're focusing on. Is it right? Or is it tilting one way and it's becoming a distraction? I always felt like with leadership, when you look at coaches or athletes and their ability to lead, and we've talked about this before, you're an A-type personality.
100%.
I'm a B-type personality, 100% introverted, extrovert. And I came to a realization, however many years ago, it's like we can both be effective leaders. Just because I'm not Kevin Bracey and I don't have the high energy, I'm not on stage talking to thousands of people, that doesn't give me an excuse not to be an effective leader. Like it just looks different
Right.
than it would for you. And I thought, man, I had this thought where, okay, if you're a type A personality, your main form of influence is the rah guy, the person on stage, the person who's at the front leading and talking to a bunch of people. Like that's
Mhm.
your main form of influence. But I think the strength of your impact comes from what you do, and what you do and how you back it up. Like,
Right.
yeah, it's easy to be, not easy, but it's for you, for that person, it's like I can be up in front, but like does my life match what I'm saying? And if it
Right.
doesn't, then it takes all the power out of the words that you're speaking. And I think for someone on the opposite side of a type B personality, I think the main form of influence is, hey, what are you doing? Are you leading by example? Are people seeing the hard work, the effort you're putting in? But I think the real strength from that comes in if you're given an opportunity to speak, if someone asks for your opinion, if you
Mhm.
need to step up and say something, are
Right.
you willing to do it? Are you going to step out of your comfort zone and do it? Because if you don't, then you're kind of wasting all this hard work and this leading by example that you're doing, because you're not willing to take that moment. So
Right.
it's just a really interesting thing how those two things kind of balance out. And it's like I said, I think when they're perfectly balanced, whether you're type A or type B or something in between,
Mhm.
um, I think there's a lot of things will work out, and I think you'll be successful. But I think once things start tipping too much one way or the other, then I
Right.
think you start losing sight of what you're really trying to accomplish.
And I think, and I also think, JT, that we're always in a constant state of balancing.
Yeah.
Because when you think, if I stand up right now and I look like I'm standing up and I'm totally still, but gravity is still pulling.
Right.
There are muscles that are still tightening in order to hold me up for me to stay
Right.
balanced. There's
Yeah.
no such thing as perfect balance,
Right.
but we have to make a conscious decision to try to find that balance on a regular basis. And that's why I like to teach, just focus on winning the day. And
Yeah.
then sometimes it's just winning that workout. Sometimes it's just winning that assignment. Sometimes it's just winning and being totally connected to this podcast, this conversation right now. So it's always trying to find that balance, but there's no such thing as perfect balance.
I love that. Yeah, I love that, man. And honestly, man, I think that's a great way to wrap this thing up. So I think, I mean, just to summarize everything we've said, I think we agree with Joe Burrow. Like, hey, put the work in, stay focused on the work. The rest of it will take care of itself. And again, not saying that you can't post your workouts, but like I think you mentioned it. If we're not focused on the main thing,
right,
then it's kind of meaningless. And people can tell too. People can tell when it's. I mean, I told you, and we're not going to throw any names out here, but I've seen a bunch of people out there that are supposedly people who are speakers or motivators or stud athletes, and it's like I don't know.
right.
The stat sheet or the actual product of what you're putting out doesn't seem to match what you're posting. But that's just my opinion.
You know what? Let me say this before we close it out too. I think a lot of the people who feel like they have to post to be seen all the time, it's really just, to me, what I see. This is just my own opinion. It's just like, here I am, see me.
Yeah.
It's like they just want to be seen.
Right.
And I mean, I think that there's certain things that there was somebody who recently, and I won't even go there because I don't want to put him out there, but everything, let me just put it like this. Everything doesn't have to be posted. Just because you don't post it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Right.
I'm trying to learn to live my life, be with my wife and be with my kids, and not have to always, let me take a picture and post where we are, or let's smile and show everybody what we're doing. No. We're here together. Let's put the phone down and actually enjoy this time together, because life is short and unpredictable. And I've been at funerals over the last few years, and here's what, at every funeral I've gone to, I've never heard anybody, as they were given the eulogy, talk about how many followers someone had, talk about how many likes or views they got on a video. That does not even matter in the bigger scheme of things. I understand that it matters if you're a YouTuber or if this is the way you make your money. I get that. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I didn't hear nobody talking about that at funerals when people were leaving this, when people have left this earth. So there's greatness in you, whether you post it or not. Just put the work in and be stealth about it. And it'll show up on the field or on the court or whatever your game of life that you play.
We're just going to drop the mic right there. That's how we're going to end this thing. I love it. As always, you guys can follow us at Home Team Sac on all social media, specifically Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Make sure you guys follow us there, and YouTube. Make sure you check out this podcast on YouTube as well. We'd love for you guys to subscribe there. And if you have some time, we would love a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It would really help us out. So, hey, Kevin, this has been fun as always, man. And,
yes, sir.
We'll see you guys next time.
Brace
Later.
up.